Judge freezes as little girl silently communicates with dog. The truth behind the signal is shocking. The courtroom was quiet, tense with the weight of what was at stake. A small girl, no older than 7, sat nervously at the witness stand. Her tiny hands clutched the armrests. Her eyes fixed not on the judge or the lawyers, but on a golden retriever lying calmly at her feet. This wasn't just any dog. This was Max, a certified therapy and support dog trained to assist victims of trauma during courtroom testimony. But what happened next wasn't part of any training. As the attorney gently asked the girl to speak about what had happened in her home, she hesitated. Her lips trembled, and her eyes welled up with tears. The entire courtroom watched in heavy silence. Then, almost imperceptibly, the girl moved her fingers, a small, deliberate series of gestures. A secret signal. Instantly, Max lifted his head, stood, and gently placed his paw on the girl's knee. The room seemed to hold its breath. The girl inhaled deeply, and then, with a sudden steadiness in her voice, she began to speak. She told the truth about the abuse, about the fear, about the nights she pretended to sleep as horrible things happened just outside her bedroom door. The judge, a man known for his composed and stoic demeanor, sat frozen. He had presided over hundreds of cases, but this was different. It wasn't just the content of the girl's testimony that struck him. It was the moment he realized what had really happened. The signal the girl had given Max wasn't taught by trainers. It wasn't a legal procedure. It was their own language. One she had developed during the darkest days of her life, when Max was the only one who truly knew what was happening behind closed doors. She had silently trained Max to know when she needed him most. The courtroom remained still for several seconds after she finished. The judge removed his glasses, wiped his eyes, and called for a short recess, not because of protocol, but because he, like everyone else in the room, had just witnessed something quietly powerful. In the end, her testimony helped convict the man responsible for her pain. But it was that quiet signal, that unspoken bond between a girl and her dog, that would forever stay in the minds of those who saw it. Would you like a version of this with more dialogue or emotion? Effect. When the courtroom reconvened, there was a noticeable shift in energy. The judge returned, his face composed, but his eyes carried the weight of what he'd just witnessed. The prosecutor approached the bench quietly and requested that the girl's testimony be sealed out of respect for her privacy and safety. The judge agreed without hesitation. Word of what had happened, the silent signal, the dog's response, the courage of the young girl began to spread through the courthouse. Attorneys, clerks, and even seasoned officers who had seen horrors unfold in court admitted they'd never experienced anything like it. The defense attorney, who had previously planned to cross-examine the girl, stood up slowly. He looked at her, then at the judge, and said only, "The defense waives cross-examination, Your Honor." Gasps echoed around the courtroom. It was a silent concession. Even the opposing side had seen enough to know. The truth had already spoken. A few weeks later, the man accused was found guilty on all counts. The girl would never have to see him again. But the story didn't end there. The judge, deeply moved, petitioned for a new protocol to be introduced, a program allowing therapy dogs to accompany child witnesses in any case involving trauma. He named it Max's Law. And the little girl? She didn't just survive, she thrived. She began speaking publicly alongside her mother and Max at schools and community centers. She never named her abuser. She never shared every detail. She didn't need to. Her story had already been heard, and it had changed everything. Want the ending to go even further into the future?